What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes are back. We get to talk to Phil Rowe today. He's going to be facing Niko Price. However, it is weight cut day, so we're going to make it a quick one. Phil, how you feeling? This is a home game for you. You got a 2-fight win streak going. You got to be feeling good about wrapping up 2022 in a violent style.
I'm feeling good. Cutting weight, it's not the most desirable thing, but it's a part of the process. So I'm blessed. I'm ready to go out there and change my life. I'm ready to make a statement, let people see me, let people see what I can really do. I'm blessed, man. I'm ready to go.
Has fighting at home been stressful or fun? Because I've heard versions of both from fighters that have fought at home. Sometimes you get pulled in a lot of directions, but then, you also get to sleep in your own bed.
I enjoy the fact that I am not in the fighter hotel. I'm not around a bunch of weenies all fight week. So it's cool in the sense that it doesn't feel like a fight week. It feels like I'm just training and cutting weight, So when you're in the hotel, your mind gets cooped up. Your mind starts playing tricks on you. So the comfort of being home is definitely a plus.
Who are the weenies? The fans, the other fighters, the UFC staff, the hotel staff?
The UFC athletes, they're usually weenies, There are they're good guys in the roster. Like shout out to Wonder Boy, shout out to Kevin Holland, Eric Anders. There's a lot of real people on the roster too, but there's a lot of weenies, a lot of ego, and I'm a chill cat, man. I see another fighter, I show a lot of common courtesy. How you doing? Good morning. No ego. I don't walk around my chest out. It's just something we do. Yeah. So fighters are weenies, man, and I don't like hanging around most of them.
I got you. All right. Earlier today, if I'm not mistaken, you got together with your opponent for a sneaker drive to spur donations for Fresh Kicks to benefit Orlando youth. Can you tell me about that, please?
My opponent did not show up. This is something that I orchestrated. I live here in Orlando. I just wanted to tap in with the inner city kids, the quote unquote troubled youth, the kids in alternative schools, places that I went when I was in school. So just kids that are different, kids that are different, that learn different. I know what it's like. So I remember at times I couldn't always get the shoes I wanted, So now I look at my closet, I got a lot of shoes. So much so that I'm like, Phil, this is an issue, So I went in there, cleaned out a lot of my good stuff. And I said, you know what, I'm going to donate a lot of this stuff. I don't need as many shoes as I have. And I know there's a lot of kids that would appreciate and love having a lot of the shoes that I have, the same as if I would when I was growing up, So just trying to get back, trying to show love, trying to tap in with these kids that look like me, and that grew up like me. So I just want to be inspiration to these kids. I want to lead by example. I want to show kids where I'm from that you don't got to play ball and rap to get out of them situations, that we grew up in.
Well, I think that's tremendous that you did that. And thank you for connecting the dots, telling us about your past. And it's unfortunate your opponent didn't show. But I doubt this is a one-time thing. Can you give us more info where our listeners, if they ever wanted to donate, the ones that live in Florida or be a part of this, or is it an annual drive that?
This is just something I came up with, man. I do a lot, man. And I'm not patting myself on the back. I do it from my heart, man. And I don't look for notoriety. I don't look for anything. But on the flip side, my buddy's like, Phil, you actually have a platform now, man. So if you do certain things and you talk about it, it could bring awareness and other people could tag on to what you're doing, and maybe someone even more powerful and in a greater, that has a greater audience than you can bring light to what you're doing and help the situation even more. So now I'm kind of learning to talk about things that I do. For instance, my mother, who is battling some ailments now. She has cancer, and she's always thinking about other people. And she actually is doing a little drive here for the homeless people. Uh, Christmas, we do little boxes. We put like deodorant, T-shirts, random stuff in there. And she hit me up today, like, "You didn't send the box to the bill?" I'm like, "Mom, I'm cutting weight. I'm doing all this. Like, I'll put some stuff in the box and send it to you." So, we're always doing something. I'm always trying to tap in. I'm always trying to give back, man. I'm blessed. I'm in a position now where I can help others, and it's our duty to help others. People don't realize that these guys get a little notoriety, they get a little buzz, they get a little blue check, they get a little change, and they think they're something. Like God blesses us, right? Nothing we have is our own. It's all borrowed. It's all, you can't take none of this stuff with you. So when He blesses you, it's your duty to bless others. And it will come back tenfold. So all I try to do is, the more that He blesses me, I just try to bless others, and not for nothing, man. I literally just want to be better than I was yesterday, man. So when I feel I get blessed, I do my best to pass it forward, pay it forward.
Phil, so these kids, these people that you're talking about, can you remember when you were maybe that age, who were the people that you looked up to, that, athletes or family members, whoever? What were they like? Can you share maybe a couple people?
It's weird, man. Like, I didn't, quote unquote, have many like role models. Like, I grew up in a very God-fearing home. What we maybe lacked in finances, like my parents made up with for like their love for Christ, and that's the home that I grew up in. And I didn't grow up in the best environment as far as outside of my home, like where I grew up, and like the things I've seen and been around. My dad would always tell me like that to be in the world, but not amongst the world, So I'm from New York, East Flatbush, and like that's maybe not like the nicest areas, but they did their best for me not to succumb to my surroundings, So mostly, man, I looked up to my dad. The older I get now, a lot of the lessons that he taught me, they're there, like a lot of times I would curse him in my head as a kid. Like I'd miss out on things. Like he would hold me back from certain things. I still would fall into trouble in the neighborhood, but I realize now, the older that I am, the lessons he was teaching me, So I never really like had anyone that I really like looked up to in that sense, So it would have to be my pops for sure.
Gotcha. And this is kind of the reverse. You're cutting weight. This has never happened to us on the show, but I want a popsicle so bad now watching you eat this
That's
popsicle.
cool, man.
So it's like revenge for fighters on us now. But
Right.
I did want to ask you about the fight now. Like, going forward, I've heard from fighters kind of talk about when you get a couple finishes, they become addicting. How does that feel for you, man, going in this fight? Are these finishes that you've been getting in fights, are they kind of addicting?
They're random, and they shock me every time. And oddly enough, man, my little frame, I got a lot of power, and it's how I punch. And people could think I'm being funny, or I'm doing something different than 99% of these guys, man. And maybe one day I'll do a breakdown video on it, but I finish 100% of the fights that I've been in. If I win, I'm going to finish. I've never been in a fight, amateur, pro, that I won that wasn't a finish. Period. I've amateur knocked dudes out with headgear on 16 gloves on. And it's not because I'm big and strong, or I have a lot of range, and that creates leverage. And the way I punch is different than 99% of people, because a lot of people say it's incorrect. But boxing coach Kelly Davis, he taught me a style that he taught his brother, Concrete Calvin Davis, former IBF world champion. He had 5 amateur fights, and he went to a world title. One of Don King's top heavyweights in the 90s. He's known all in the boxing community, boxing world. So I was taught by him, and he learned from a lot of good people in the 90s and early late 80s. Angelo Dundee. I can't forget all these other trainers, but it's a unique style, man. And elbow up, that's all I can tell you. That's a elbow up, my right hand, you know. So when my right hand touches people, man, they usually fold. So I don't know. It's just the way I fight. It's just what happens. I just end up knocking people out. I end up submitting guys. So it's not really. It just happens. I don't think about it.
Phil, I remember watching you at Contender Series. It was a nutty atmosphere. Shabazian's crew is loud, and they were all over the place. But anyway, again, thanks for sharing what you did earlier. Our thoughts and prayers for your mom.
Appreciate it, man.
What she's battling, and tremendous that she's still a force out there, and together with you, helping the community, giving back.
Rocking and rolling.
Yeah. Thank you for jumping with us here on Fight Week and on the day that you couldn't fight. And, you know, obviously we're going to retweet and share anything that you're doing with your community. I think that's huge. And it's great to get to know you here. And hopefully we can help you out, at least in that regard, with the listeners that we have in Florida that are always kind people and always looking to participate and help out when they can as well.
Hey, man, I appreciate you guys allowing me to be on your platform. It's a huge platform, and I'm honored. I really appreciate it. Any exposure I can get is good exposure. So, blessings.
Awesome. Well, have a great fight on Saturday. Safe weight cut, and we'll talk to you soon.